저는 결코
한 손을 곁에 있는 사람의 어깨에 올려주시겠습니까? 함께 어깨에 손을 얹고 함께 민주주의의 이 빛을 나누어 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
In the past, in order to have a democracy prosper, people used to demonstrate against the dictatorial government. The only way they could protest against the dictatorship was just went out and battled against them. The massive street protests took streets and clashed with the police and met violent confrontation. The Democracy Revolution in 1960 on April 19. The democracy movement in Gwangju to step forward to democracy and for right of equality on May 18 in 1980, and the June resistance in 1987. What they wanted to was just to convey their opinions and suggest problems. It was the way they could talk to the government over a high barrier to progress. Over the last few years, there has been a new movement way of protesting in Korea. Tens of thousands of people fill the streets of downtown Seoul with the candles lighting up. They say it is an only chance for people to speak up their voice actively as getting involved in politics. As respecting the law, the Candlelight Vigil more likely to be a cultural ceremony rather than a demonstration with peaceful means. Just like a candle, Koreans hope that not to lose their wish and pray for a better society. They believe it is a pure democracy.
The advent of Candlelight Vigil in South Korea was when a miserable incident happened in the year 2002. What happened is, two 14-year-old Korean girls were walking on a road. A column of US military vehicles was using this narrow road for a field exercise. On this day, a 60-ton military vehicle pulled to the side of the road and crushed the two young girls to death. However, under the sofa, US military trial acquitted the driver and controller of any responsibility for the deaths, and it has ignited widespread anti-American feelings among all citizens in the society. To fight for justice and to eliminate American army staying in Korea, Korean people started gathering with candles, expressing their condolence. Through the candlelight vigil, there have been further events such as setting up a cenotaph and wall for the two young girls. Also, when our former President Lo's impeachment was proposed, Koreans' candlelight vigil showed a great power. At the time, all Seoul City was full of citizens who objected to the impeachment. It was tremendous gathering hoping that the impeachment would be rejected. The importance of this candlelight vigil was that it showed what Korean citizens really wanted, because it is not something which people really wanted, but introduced by a coalition of some political parties. It was the moment that proves Candlelight Vigil is another voice of citizens to express their opinions. Eventually, the impeachment was rejected by the Constitution. Based on the candlelight movement, the former President Lo came back to the Blue House.
On April 2, 2007, free trade agreement about importing American beef between Korea and the United States concluded. Mad cow disease was generated from Korea-US FTA. Korean government didn't make their position clear. At the very beginning of this contract, Korean government insisted that they would attach strict conditions on American beef. However, Korean government changed their state too many times, while Korea and US government were negotiating. Finally, Korean government took conciliatory attitude about accepting American beef. And then they said there was no problem with American beef, even though some Americans admitted that their government shouldn't have done it. It made Koreans angry. Therefore, Koreans decided to demonstrate their anger to Korean government through Candlelight Vigil. Last year on May 2nd, the first Candlelight Vigil protesting the government's resumption of American beef imports was held at the Cheonggye Plaza in downtown Seoul. President Lee Myung-bak was forced to make a formal public apology 20 days after the first protest was held and modifications. The beef deal with the U.S. were agreed on June 20th. However, that failed to dampen the anger of protesters, and demonstrations became more violent. Radical civic activists started to get involved, while the number of ordinary citizens participating shrank. Besides, the purpose of Candlelight Vigil has been changing these days. People express their hostility toward our government through Candlelight Vigils. This demonstration also sometimes caused bad effects to the public. For example, there is necessary to block the road during Candlelight Vigil. As a result, whenever this demonstration arises, there is traffic jam. Moreover, there are sometimes violent deeds in Candlelight Vigil.
As we have talked so far, Candlelight Vigils have been settled down as Korean cultural phenomenon. The ultimate purpose of Candlelight Vigils is to find a way for the better country between the public and the government without violent confrontation. On the other hand, the opponents say that it was demonstration of how direct democracy can get out of hand, as radical activists turned the rallies into violent anti-government protest.
You have looked into the Korean new social movements in South Korea. To be a pure and mature democracy, Candlelight Vigils should not be used as a political purpose in a violent way. Korea wants Candlelight Vigils make difference.